Find one employer that gets it, that's willing to walk alongside you. It's not, oh, they're going to do this because what are we going to do that's value added for you and for the individuals? Mm-hmm. Do it well. And then build off that. Just start small on one employer. Then that employer sits on other kind of HR things, other employer things. They start talking about the great thing that they have going on, and other employers want to be a part of it. And they're reaching out to you before you're reaching out to them.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brighter Together podcast. My name is Janet Courtney, and my special guest today is Shannon DeLora. Shannon is a transition consultant at Muskegon Area ISD, which is Muskegon, Michigan. Shannon, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So, Shannon, you and I, before we got on, we're talking about Muskegon, and it has a special place in my heart. We were up in Silver Lake all the time when our kids were little, and it just is so talking to somebody from Muskegon is near and dear to my heart for sure. So tell us about what's going on in Muskegon.
So Muskegon has seen tons of growth. We have really great opportunities now for tourism, for businesses, for having people come and see the great things that we have going on in terms of, we have a social district now. We have a pretty good convention center. There's just lots of opportunity down along the water. That's really cool to see.
And isn't there an amusement? I'm thinking there's an amusement park right there, isn't there?
Muskegon's Adventure.
Yeah,
yes,
we have Adventure. Yep, been there.
Wow.
Yep. So, but you work with transition and with students in special needs. So, tell us a little bit about what you do.
So, as a transition consultant from Muskegon County, I support students 16 to 26 with an IEP, so an individualized education plan. So, students in special education. The county, we have like 13 districts. So I support students and teachers, ensuring that we're connecting our students and getting them prepared for them to exit. Whether that's exiting and going into the world of work, going on to college, or going into a trade. Some of our students will exit high school with a certificate of completion, which is not a high school diploma, and they will receive services at our young adult program, which is for individuals 18 to 26 that can receive services. And while they're here, we're not working on the academics, the math, the English, those kind of things any longer. We're working on community participation. We're working on employment skills and independent living skills when they come to us.
Right. So you work most with the ones that have a certificate of completion, or you do all of it?
I do all of it.
Okay.
I do a lot of work around the IEP for compliance issues that the state requires, the federal government. So that's not the fun stuff, but it's required. So I do a lot of work around that, providing professional development to teachers, those secondary special education teachers, to ensure we have quality, individualized, compliant IEPs. And then I have some state groups around supported decision-making, so guardianship, what that looks like when that individual turns 18. And then a lot of my work, I am housed at our young adult program, so our 18 to 26-year-old transition students. So I do a lot of the employment piece there. So our students go out to different opportunities in the community to learn employment skills. And so I have lots of partnerships with employers in the community. And then I support 6 job coaches taking students out into the community to work on those skills with the goal of leading to employment for them.
Right. So really, when you graduate from high school and you're on an IEP, that doesn't mean that everything just ends because you're done, right? There's lots of programs and services, and so you have specific partners within the community that you guys work with to get employment for students. Is that what I understand?
Yes. So, I mean, if that's the goal for the student, if their goal is to enter the world of work, we'll work with our community partners depending on what kind of support a student will need. We might be working with Michigan Rehabilitation Services, MRS, connect these students to them to look for employment opportunities, continue to build those skills that might be necessary. Our community mental health is Health West. So that's for those students that might need a little bit more long-term follow along. So we'll work with those agencies. And then MRS and Health West, our community mental health, they are kind of the fiduciary umbrella organizations, and then they choose vendors. So our vendors in our county include MOCA, Preferred, Pioneer Resources, and Goodwill are some of the vendors that we have in our county as well. So I do a lot of work with those agencies as well to ensure that we're making those connections before the students exit.
What would attract a employer to consider partnering with a school for students with special needs? Because I'm a special needs person. I'm trying to ask this from the perspective of somebody that's not ingrained in it, because you and I, boy, like we get it. But what if I'm an employer and I have a heart for kids with special needs, but I have no idea, even how I would go about that. What would you say to somebody like that?
It's hard because I get so excited to be able to share the value that our individuals bring. But it's not even that I know these things. It's that when we are able to connect with employers, it's what they're telling us. They're showing up, right? They're staying on task. They're happy to be at work. That's probably the biggest thing, is that we have a really great opportunity where we have individuals in a manufacturing site, and it's a cell just like any other cell within the manufacturing. And we have a job coach that we pay for, and they're there. Our students go there. They're getting paid. They're adding value added work. And their employees from the manufacturing place will come into the cell just to connect and greet our individuals working there, because they're amazing workers and they're amazing individuals.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Every person has value.
Yes.
Every single person. And I love that. And I love the fact that they sometimes it's the work that they can do is the work that they can do. And the fact that they have struggled their entire lives, and now they get paid and they get to do something, and they get to do something that somebody who's, quote, normal might complain about. They're excited to be there. And
Happy.
Yeah.
Right. And what we know and what we've learned is that all individuals, including individuals with disabilities, they will rise to our level of expectation.
True.
So
yeah.
if we have a low expectation, that's what we're going to get. But when we have high expectations, they're going to meet them. They've proven it and proven it and proven it. And what I like to remind people is that we have lots of individuals in our county, students that are exiting, that are going on to 2- and 4-year universities, and they're gonna leave the county. They're gonna leave the state. Our community are these individuals that maybe have disabilities and might not, without family support, might not be able to go further. So these are our community. Why wouldn't we want them to be contributing members and to bring value and to have a reason to get up and go to work and have the pride of that?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And you can be taught, you can be taught to do a job. Maybe you won't be able to balance your checkbook. Maybe you won't be able to make sure that you get a meal and do all of those things, but you can do a job and do it well and do it every single day. And
balance my checkbook well. I look at the balance. I'm like, okay, I'm good. My kids, I have this much money. Well, but you got to look at what's got to come out yet, right?
Yeah.
So we all have areas that we need to improve, and we all have areas where we can be successful, and we can just focus on those areas for success and continue to build and learn and grow.
Right.
That's all we can.
And you mentioned a job coach. Explain to people a little bit what a job coach's job is and how they would incorporate or work into say a factory or someplace like that where you might have 4 or 5 people with disabilities working.
So I am blessed to work with and support 6 amazing job coaches that all bring a different personality, a different perspective. And what their job is to work themselves out of a job.
Yeah,
I tell them all that So we do rotations or semesters or whatever that might look like. And so I always tell them week 1, 2, 3, very much hands-on, ensuring that they're doing the task. And we've got sites around the county in manufacturing, in retail, in restaurant. We have some opportunities all across the county that are just amazing opportunities for our students who maybe don't know what it looks like to be in a factory, or maybe doesn't know what working in retail means. So their job is for those students that need that, because we have some students that they're not going to need that job coach. They're just going to need the natural supports that happen at an employer, with an employer. We have some that we drop off at places in their unpaid work experiences right now with the goal of leading to employment.
Mm-hmm.
But we have somewhere we're dropping them off, and the natural supports that are in that business are what is teaching and guiding the individual there. The job coach, their job is to, one, develop, because oftentimes when I go in to develop a site, I'm talking about what they could do, but I'm not there every day to see what things there are. So the job coach or job developer, while they're there, they're looking for other opportunities to continue to build that skill set for our students. So they may be at Meijer, which is a grocery store, and they may be stocking shelves, but they're looking to say, hey, we could also pick the fish out of the fish tanks that are dead, or we could feed the fish, or we could be in the garden center. We could do these different things. So they're looking for more opportunities to build the skill set, but they're working themselves out of a job. So they're very much hands-on in the beginning. And then I always tell them jokingly, but by week 9, 10, 11, 12, when I show up, you should be sitting back reading your book, eating bonbons, right? Like you've taught them, and now you're seeing. But it's also about, then does that student go to a different site and recall routines that are still necessary, but it's a different setting? So are they still staying on task? Are they still asking help? Are they still initiating a task when they finish a job? Are they able to transfer those skills that they've learned? So the job coach is doing that, and then providing support. So if it's a visual support, what we know is that students with autism are very visual. If they see it, they're able to do it. But what we have found over and over and over again is that the visuals, the checklist, those help all students. They help me. I have a calendar that tells me when and where I'm supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so our job coaches are taking pictures and providing a flip cards of here's this job, so that they're not relying on the job coach. They can say, here's your resource. Once you've done the first 5, checked it off, flip the cards, come back and we'll talk about what's next. So they're multifaceted. They're doing a lot. And they're also scaffolding it depending on the need of the students.
Are you struggling to keep speech therapy fully staffed or tired of high turnover? You're not alone. At Lighthouse Therapy, our speech-language pathologists are seasoned professionals, and most of them have over 16 years of school-based experience. They're not just qualified, they're consistent, relational, and results-driven. We offer 3 flexible delivery models: virtual therapy, hybrid therapy, and in-person therapy. It's speech therapy done right for you and your students. Learn more at lighthouse-therapy.com/brighter together. Neat. Very, very neat. And one of the things that I have in my notes is you talked about highlighting employer perspectives through video interviews. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So one of the things we started 2 years ago, we had these students that COVID, I say one of the best things that came out of COVID is there were all these job openings. So employers were willing to give individuals with disabilities a chance. So a lot of our students were getting paid employment, which is the goal, which is what we want. And they were getting that. And so as we had these students in our young adult program getting these jobs and successfully employed, we would go out and we would do videos. So we have lots of videos of our students actually doing their jobs, but we also wanted to capture the input from the employer. And they were telling us, we love it. They bring a breath of fresh air to our place. And this is gas stations and factories and retail stores. And, we have one student that is a student that has autism, and he works at a restaurant, and his one and only job is to batter the chicken. And he batters the chicken faster than the machine that they had built to batter the chicken. That corporate had to come in because they couldn't believe how quickly he is able to do his job. And he loves it. And he comes in, refrigerator's full, the chicken, it's just, and this is an individual that needs extra support in terms of understanding his voice volume, and he can get frustrated and not understand, manage that sometimes. But the job he's doing, he absolutely loves. Nobody else wanted to do this job.
Right.
And doing it, and he's breaking records and his own records sometimes. So it's just, it's.
And had he not had you and your team and the value that transition coaches and these transition programs are doing, where would he be?
He would probably stay in our program until he has to exit due to age, and then maybe attend a skill building program with one of the vendors that I talked about earlier, or maybe just be at home.
Yeah.
Right. And he is, talk about value added.
Right.
One individual. He's just one of the many that are adding value, and he has so much pride in his job, and you can see that, and the employer values him, and that's what we all want.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing because everybody, you have to have purpose in life. You just have to have a purpose. And when you don't have a purpose, boy, it's a sad place, right? And when you can see the joy and the pride, and I'm sure even parents, what has your input from your parents been?
It's been great, but it's also kind of an aha for them. Some of them never anticipated that their child would ever work. And here they are working, making a wage. It's not unpaid, and they're enjoying it. There's just pride in that. And there's pride from the individual, but the family, the parents have pride in their individual that's contributing as well. So sometimes it's helping the parents kind of see that there is abilities and there is a desire. And so when you can get the parents on board too, then you've got everyone, you've got the trifecta.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause there's definitely, I know as parents, you want what's best for your kids, but when you have a child that has a disability and you've been fighting for 16, 18, 20, 22, 25 years, whatever it is, to make sure that they get the services and then to have them be successful, there's this piece of you that goes, I'm scared to let go, right? I've seen it, but to be able to show them that and to show that they have, and then to see your child be successful. There's nothing better than to raise your child and allow them to give them those wings, right?
Yeah, that's the question we have all the time as we're doing transition assessments and trying to figure out what the students' post-school goals are. Is what is going to be your reason to wake up? What's going to be your reason to get out of bed and get dressed and go out each day? And so it's kind of gets parents thinking too, what is that going to look like? So it's cool to kind of bring parents along just as much. We had one mother who was like, we offered an opportunity at one of our manufacturing paid sites, and she's like, I never thought he would be able to work. I'm so excited that you see this for him, and he's doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
And he's proud.
Yeah.
And he's proud. His family's proud.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We all want to be proud of our kids and the work that they're doing. And yeah. And you just continue to step into that. And it's such a blessing to those kids and to the community. So kudos to you and your team. So what would you say to a school that is stepping into, I know there's a lot of programs already out there, but that maybe hasn't done as much as you guys are doing? What would be your recommendation or your I don't know what the word, I'm losing the word that I want, but you're just,
For staff,
yeah. How do I get started? How do I do this successfully? Where do I go? Where do I get going?
I would say 95% of the job sites we have are because somebody knows someone who has a child, or they have a child, or their sisters, somebody who has an individual with a disability in their life. And so this person connects to this person and we're able to. And so I would say find one employer. Find one employer that gets it, that's willing to walk alongside you and have a conversation about what it looks like. Because it's not, oh, they're going to do this because what are we going to do that's value added for you and for the individuals?
Mm-hmm.
And do it well. And then build off that.
Yeah.
Just start small, find one employer and go from there, because then that employer sits on other kind of HR things, other employer things. They start talking about the great thing that they have going on, and other employers want to be a part of it. And they're reaching out to you before you're reaching out to them.
Right. Right. Yeah. Because it's, if I can, and there's a piece of it too, that goes, wow, I can employ this person and get this job done and have consistent work, right? Somebody that's going to do it and stick around and not, have this revolving door of people that come and go and come and go and come and go. So to have that consistency with, it's a win. You want to create win-wins, right? We talk about win-wins in business, and when you can create a position or a situation where it's a win on both sides, it's a no-brainer. It really is.
And then it's word of mouth, right?
Yeah.
They talk about the success and they tell somebody who tells somebody who reaches out. Some of our students that have been employed, they have a work experience, but then the individual is like, well, we're not hiring right now, but my sister works here and they're hiring, so I'll put in a good word, and that ends up to another opportunity for employment for an individual. So it really is about those relationships.
Are most of your students, are they working full-time, or is it generally part-time? How does that work out? I didn't even think about that till now.
So in our young adult program, it's generally part-time because they attend our program as well. So they're still working on, if they're working, they may be working on budgeting, they may be working on community participation, they may be working on cooking, those independent living skills still at the transition campus. So it varies. And so they'll tell their teacher, hey, this is my schedule for next week. I'm going to be here on these 2 days, but I'm working 3, or I'm going to be here 4 days because I'm working Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'll be here Monday through Thursday. It really does vary. A lot of them work part-time. Some of them, as they're getting closer to exit, we're having that conversation. What does it look like for you when you're not here any longer? Do you want to continue to work part-time? Do you want to go full-time? And so it's really about what that looks like for the family and for the individual. And then for some of our individuals, they have Social Security. They have that SSI. And so parents are sometimes worried that they'll lose their SSI. So we have a nice relationship with Disability Network, and they do benefits analysis. So I always try, anytime we're going to have a student start with employment, let's set you up with the benefits analysis counselor and talk about what does this look like for them to work, and that there is value in it. They're going to make more. What does it look like? So that's all part of it, but mostly part-time. We've had a couple that, they're like, all right, I'm going to exit early. They can stay till 26, but the goal is not that
Right.
they do if their goals. So if they're saying I'm working 25 or 30 hours a week and I feel like I've met my goals, that we want them to exit. We want them to go and do all the other things that they want to do in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Exactly. So, tell our audience, where would they go to find out more about what you're doing and to just see what's happening at Muskegon?
You can always go to the Muskegon Area ISD website. We have all the categories for all the things that we offer to our county. I do a newsletter every month, a transition newsletter that goes out to individuals. So if they can subscribe to that or email me. I can share my email address with you. And I love to highlight opportunities. And then
Yeah, no, that's great. That's fantastic. So can they find you through the website? Okay. Beautiful. So Shannon DeLora, and DeLora is DeLora for those of you that are listening and can't see it. So, and Shannon is with two N's, Shannon. So I just always want to make sure that if someone wants to look, we want them to be able to find our guests. So, and just Shannon, thank you for being here. Thank you for what you're doing for these kids and for their parents and for your community. Because, like the show Brighter Together, you're making the community brighter with what you're doing. So thank you and congratulations for the hard work.
I think the students are making it brighter, but I'm blessed that I get to work with them and serve them.
Man, I love that. I love that so much. So keep it up. Keep it up. Absolutely.